Hi, this is Dave from Motales, and I'm here to introduce Nihar and his comprehensive lineup of Chrysler and Dodge cars. A surprisingly comprehensive look at what a Dodge lineup could be using the available platforms that are here, the available engines, and some sense of the current market conditions and what Dodge has already been selling. I hope that you will enjoy it, but without further ado, let's go and meet Nihar.
They are out of order because I think based on the images I could find, they had certain directions. So they are listed based on the direction they are able to face to make it look like a spreading lineup. Two of them are not listed because after some thinking, these would exist. I've done designs for them, but they would most likely be suited for other markets. Omni and the Dynasty, actually the
Right.
smallest and the largest on my list. Right. So it would be based off of the Peugeot 208. I
Mm-hmm.
think originally I had Neon down there and Omni up here, but I based on like I guess the history of it, I swapped them. I think Omni should be the smallest. Omni would be 208 based. It'd
Mm-hmm.
be Stella Small, and I have translated what was it? I think it's 16,695. I translated the dollar amount to Mexican
Yeah.
pesos.
Although right now they've got the attitude there.
That's really cool looking. Actually, the I would have to say the Attitude was the laziest rebadge I've ever seen. The first one was a Hyundai Accent. I even think it still had the Hyundai logo on it.
Yes, it was one of the lazier rebadges.
Yeah, the second generation was Mitsubishi Mirage, and they did a little bit better. They put more Dodge stuff, and it did look more a little bit more like a Dodge. They put the crosshair on it. Decent cheap car. This one looks fantastic, actually. It's a Chinese car, but it really suits Dodge, I think. The GAC MPOW, that is wow, I think it's almost something I would come up with. Like it's a very suiting rebadge, I think.
What was interesting to me was when they did the last neon in Mexico, they gave it
Mhm.
a whole new look, which looked a
The
lot
Fiat
more
the
like a
Fiat
neon.
Tipo, yes.
Yeah, the Fiat Tipo, they redid it as the neon and it looked a lot better, but they were also talking at that point of selling it in the US, of putting in a different engine and selling it.
And
And that,
I think they should still do that. The Tipo Neon was almost there. It was still I don't know. And back when I was looking at my first car, I think I completely glanced over the Charger and Durango and some of the more Dodge looking Dodges. But I think I looked at a Dart and I was like, I don't know if I want a Dart, especially being Fiat. But the Neon, it was almost there. Very commendable. I think a commendable third generation after the one we had. And of course, I think because it's sold in large numbers, would do phenomenal here. Is $16,863. That would
well,
be your starting price of your Omni, up to 425,547. So it would go from 16,900 to 21,800.
so
So then
roughly, so a little cheaper, like $2,000 cheaper than the Corolla range.
and I think that is a great place for Dodge to start. And I think most people are in agreement. The ones who want to see Chrysler and Dodge succeed believe or feel that Dodge should be starting at that price range so that Chrysler can start at somewhere between 22 and 25,000. The thing that most makes sense is to go after Buick originally. Start by going after Buick. If I was there, I would really crack down on the reliability and all that because those are the consistent things that people find wrong with Chrysler. If that were to be solved, you build up that repertoire, and then you start from Buick. You can aim for Acura, you can aim for Lexus, you can aim for Genesis. And I believe that if as you slowly build that up, those are the most common sense competitors for Chrysler. You've got a high range of it ends at 21,800 for the Omni, and you start off at your next level up 2,000 below that. You remember the Dodge Nitro?
So you'd have it as a small crossover, I see.
Yes. As my rendering suggests, it is the newest or the second newest of my renderings because The Citroen EC3 just came out.
Ah, so you use that as the basis. That makes sense.
Yes.
So these are fairly realistic in that you've got the Peugeots there, and that's what we build off of.
Yes. When I make my renderings, I usually try to stay within the umbrella. If I'm not able to find something in the umbrella, then I find something that looks like it. And I'll touch on that in the Journey and the Imperial. The Nitro is Citroen EC3, which just came out, I think, a few months ago. And that is a small, boxy kind of SUV
Hmm.
would be on STLA Small, 19.9, just under 20,000. I've set it as up to 26,000. This would be the
Necessarily.
entry point into North America because of course we like our SUVs and crossovers. I do have a proposal, of course, on my YouTube channel and through one of the cars at Chrysler. We've gotten so out of control with our SUVs and crossovers that there is a reason why I propose some of the things for the Imperial that would break apart some of those SUV and crossover buyers. There are three things that people look for when they're shopping for an SUV or crossover. One is the height.
Hmm.
One is the seating capacity. Sometimes you need more than five people. You want the six seaters, seven seaters, eight seaters. Sometimes not. I've seen nine seaters. That would be amazing. Six plus, that's your second criteria, and your third is your cargo.
Well,
So,
that the Chrysler used to do that in the 30s, with the and 40s, the long
mhm.
wheelbase Chrysler with the three rows of seats in a sedan. That's
Oh,
it's not
I
unheard
didn't
of.
realize that. That is absolutely taking Chrysler back to its roots, if that's true. And I honestly didn't think about that. I just thought that, oh, Chrysler has come up with the minivan. They've come up with some pretty interesting innovations. They should be the one to make a vehicle that's like a sedan that can capture what could potentially be 67% of SUV shoppers. So then you step up from the Nitro to the well-known Neon.
Hmm.
I've set it at 22,900. This is based on the Peugeot 308. Oh yeah,
Oh, there we go. And that's okay. So you're drawing from Tipo,
from the
not from
Tipo, yes. So
not
of
from
course,
Stella
I
Medium.
acknowledge the okay, so you have the Dodge Neon, Plymouth Neon. That's your Gen 1.
Hmm.
Your the bubbly lights. I don't know how to describe it. I think the SRT4 was introduced in this second generation.
Hmm.
It's hard to
Yep.
describe, but I
With the
know
cross-eyed lights, yeah.
the cross-side lights, yeah. Gen 2, Tipo Gen 3. This would be Gen 4. And when they do the Stella small, medium, whatever, 208 is small, 308 is medium. So this would be on Stella medium. Some people have told me, Nihar, why don't you have a neon sedan? And I think originally when I did have a neon sedan. I think a neon hatch would be awesome. And I think an SRT4 hatch would really rival the best of the hot hatches we have.
A sport
I'm
hatch.
all about keeping
What?
sedans, but at least for the smaller cars,
Oh, the
I
hatch is a much smarter design.
I think neon as a hatch makes a lot more sense.
Oh yeah, and the way that you have it is pretty seamless. It's a nice look. It's
I
graceful.
wanted to say that unlike most renders, you see a lot of renders who just do outsides. I do insides too. And so this is an inside. The main focus is, of course, the new steering wheel and the Uconnect of Dodge that are
Now
the
that huge
centerpieces
console
of
on
it.
the right that comes like all the way up, is that based on the 308 interior or is that
Yes. This is
interesting?
Peugeot with
Wow.
the Uconnect was steering was introduced in the 2024 E308 E3008, I think.
Hmm.
But it was the two spoke. So it's just that and the two spoke. The bottom section was my addition. So it's a four spoke with the two being my addition. The
Yep.
bottom comes from the Ram, actually.
Oh, that's
And so my
interesting.
proposal on this steering wheel design for Dodge is a four-spoke design from the Peugeot, where you have this bottom connection between the two that can be replaced by anything from Ram. You will see that I did the inlay with the tungsten, with the Ram tungsten, so it would look
Oh,
like that
yes.
when you change it out. And you can, and also I did carbon fiber for the SRT4, etc. So it's both utilitarian, but also sporty.
Makes it more consistent and more customized without spending a lot of money.
Oh yeah.
And of course, the owners can go and give Mopar a nice revenue stream by putting in whatever they want.
That's what I was thinking. I was like wondering, if they start off regular and you can factory order any RAM piece and put it in there, that would also bring them some income, I believe, right?
I have wondered because one of the things I've seen quite often is people want to replace the surfaces in their car, the plates and the fascias and the covers. And sometimes the manufacturer lets them do that and sells them the parts, and sometimes it ends up on eBay.
Mm-hmm.
And they put on decals and they buy new ones from third parties. And I keep thinking, why would the companies do
Yeah.
that, when they can get, hey, here's some extra money.
Yeah,
I never did do
I've
that.
seen some of my friends replace all, like, you have all the hard rubber, they replace it with the wood, and they have like wood
Right.
accents around the Camry. Yeah. Steering wheels done by class. Of course, the ones with the interchangeable ram part
Oh
would
yeah.
be only for your medium segment. I
Mhm.
said that. Of course, that's your Neon, Intrepid, Conquest, and Journey. I have the smaller three spoke that I upgraded from the original design. I left that to the small ones. You have your Omni and your Nitro. If I ever decide to do a Dart or a Caliber, those would fall there too. And of course, Charger. We know what the Charger one looks like. I expect that to see on the Challenger if the Challenger returns, and the Durango.
Yeah, Caliber would be one that you might want to skip over.
Right, right, yeah.
I mean,
Caliber and
even
Dart are the
Nitro's
ones I
pushing
was
it.
like, yeah, no, I don't think those would be too good.
Dart's sad because that was a great name. Conquest is interesting because
Yes,
that would
yes.
be an appropriate name.
Conquest goes into my creativity. So that's where things get interesting. So you step up from your Neon, just 3,000 more, you can get a Conquest. A very popular selling car, my sister had one, was the Crosstrek, the Subaru Crosstrek. Very popular. I see them everywhere. They're definitely a lifestyle vehicle. You kind of know the people who buy a Crosstrek, like what their personality might be. And this is where I think Dodge could come in and steal some Outback, some Crosstrek sales. It starts off with the Rampage.
Now that's an interesting front end look.
It is mostly Rampage. It's Rampage with a lift back, like
Hmm.
with a lift back top. So it's a car. It's a car kind of on the Rampage platform. It's a new segment. It's definitely something different. Of course, Chrysler being the innovative one. This one I think is a little too wild for Chrysler. This would go to Dodge. Conquest was a Chrysler name, I believe.
Chrysler name for the Mitsubishi Starion, if I remember correctly.
The Conquest name is back on something completely different, completely unique. It's now the Dodge Conquest, and it starts on the Rampage, but you have the sedan kind of roof to it. It's
Hmm.
so it sits a little higher. It's definitely a lifestyle vehicle. It's something you want to take outdoors. It's something you want to take camping on, with your friends. A main feature that a lot of people love, which is the split tailgate.
That's unusual now, but handy. Oh, that would be clever. You don't see those. You always wish that you had something like
Mm-hmm.
that
Mm-hmm.
because it's not so much how big your trunk is. And in the 300C at least, can you get something into the trunk?
Mm-hmm. The only thing that would kill the perception of this, and if this were to be a reality, I hope they could come some way around it, because isn't the Rampage built in Mexico?
But if it's medium, they can build it wherever mediums are built. You don't,
Yes.
that's the
If this is
thing.
built in Canada on Stella Medium, this would be a hit. Even so Auto Evolution did some articles on some of my designs, and I think in the Conquest one they said this would be a big hit.
It's a matter of getting them
Same
to do
same
it,
interior.
as
It's on the
always.
medium, so of course you got the medium
Yeah.
steering wheel. You
Gosh,
got
it's such
the
an interesting interior. Yeah.
So this is the Conquest. This is the one that people are saying would be an absolute money printer for Stellantis. And this one I priced at 25,945 up to 31,445 with GT RT. I really wanted to do TRX on this. I'm the design guy, but I think that to have a powerful require some TRX sounds cool would kind of be a stretch. So I had three choices of powerful versions of this. GLH, I stuck with like the car type vehicles. I think GLH makes more sense for that. Neon GLH, Nitro GLH, Omni GLH, Intrepid GLH, but Conquest GLH just didn't ring with me quite well for the kind of vehicle that it is. So next logical one would be SRT. So you step onto an Intrepid from the Conquest at its base 25, 28, the Intrepid. They just dropped the Citroen C5X, which I thought was a very practical, different, interesting kind of car. So the Intrepid is based off of the C5X. I believe it was my first, if not one of my first, Stellantis Dodge designs.
That's the Magnum form factor, though, complete with the roof that comes down and eliminates your cargo space. That's
Right, yeah. The C5X, would you call it a wagon? It's not quite a sedan. It's not even quite a crossover either.
well,
I
it's got a hatchback, so if it's tall enough, you could call it a crossover.
This is not a Peugeot based car. I think I said I would do it on the 408, which was Peugeot's stablemate to this.
Hmm.
And after how it was looking, I was like, nah, I'm not doing this on a Peugeot. It's just not turning out so well. Oh, there's the Citroen C5X. Let me see how that looks. Of course, it looked so much better, but it looks somewhere between a sedan and crossover, kind
I
of like
think that might be the future of where things are going. I like the amber turn signals, assuming that's
Of
what
course,
they
I'm
are.
big. I'm big on amber. If I do this, I'm telling you, yeah, all the cars that I make, amber, much safer.
Hmm.
Of course, I would like so you have kind of a black glass tail light section. If you could have all the like illumination like down here along the side, that'd be like along the bottom, that'd be really cool. So you have the brake lights there. Inside you have the reverse lights, and then on the outside you have the amber. So
Yeah,
that's how it would look like.
it looks good. I mean, I like your designs better than I like most.
Yeah, and
Have
then
you
this
ever
is where I
considered
showed
working
you.
for Toyota? I mean, they can do some seriously ugly cars without you.
Oh my God. I, I know. I mean, I would bring like I said, I'd bring the Toyota reliability to Dodge and Chrysler. I would not like, I'm sorry, I wouldn't want to work for Toyota. I'm just,
It's
yeah.
a different company. They haven't had a wild and crazy past, and their organizational culture has been pretty consistent and stolid for about 80 years. So
Yeah. They're definitely, I guess, they have their things going for them. But I think also the lack of direction. I think I said that in my video, the lack of direction and leadership for a company as passionate as Dodge, is like, yeah, I really want to, come up with some designs and stuff for them and really, help them out because they've done so much.
it's like somebody asked me, why do you follow Chrysler, not GM and Ford? And it's GM and Ford are dull. Well, Ford was started by a Nazi, so I'm not going to like them. But GM, they're so dull. I mean,
Yeah,
they slowly decline. Their slow decline takes 50 years. Mary Barra comes in, they go back up again slowly and calmly and in an orderly fashion. It's not the company that you associate with flashes of genius.
right,
You
yeah.
know, it's not the company of firsts. It's the company of slowly and methodically, we shall do a very competent product and people will buy it because they want something competent and mainstream.
They are the ones churning out the EVs though. If
They
you
are
want to
doing
look
that, and they're
inside, yeah.
doing it in a competent and sensible fashion, like they always
So
do.
another
Just for
3,000
mentioning
more, you
Russell.
can step up to a
Yeah,
true SUV.
the
The of course
Journey,
ever so popular Dodge Journey.
and that one looks a lot more the part. How much space do you have in the interior of that as it goes back? Because that roof sure slopes back.
Oh yeah. So this is the one I have to talk about. So this was the first one that I was like, okay, Journey was popular. I want to do a new Journey. Who do I go to in Stellantis that would make this look the part? And I was just like, I'm sorry, no one. So, unfortunately, this is built off of a 2023 plus Renault e-Space. However, it looks a lot like it borrows parts from the Charger. So they could definitely lift up a Charger and do this.
Hmm. Is it e-space or espace? I always thought it
Espace. It
was
could be a
espace.
spot.
All right, just wondering because it's French word.
Yes, minivan converted to, I guess, now full-size SUV. This is
Oh,
it.
that's interesting.
Definitely
And
has some
then
muscle lines to it. So I was like, yeah, I could work
uh,
off of this.
that's the new espace or
Espace.
e-space. I like e-space better, honestly.
E-Space.
But that's fascinating because it's not a minivan anymore. It's a
Mhm.
crossover.
So this is Gen 3. Gen 1, of course, that was so popular, very muscly. I think was a result of the discontinuation of the Caliber and
Based on the Avenger. So it was,
sorry,
yeah, the Avenger was dropped, and then the Journey, and it was sold for a couple more
sorry,
years.
the original Pacifica crossover
All
and
right.
something else.
The original Pacifica crossover was
To
based on the
2004 to
minivan.
2008.
Yeah.
I heard this somewhere. This replaced the original Pacifica and something from Dodge.
Oh, it replaced the short wheelbase Caravan is what they told us when it was new.
Oh, okay. Dodge Caravan and Chrysler Pacifica.
That
So
makes
that's
sense.
Gen 1. Gen 2 is Chinese. It came back in
Yep,
22.
I remember that.
GAC GS5 Journey. It actually looks pretty cool. Looks very good. Definitely looks the part looks very Dodge. If it
It
was available
does.
here, I'd probably look at it.
Yeah. Well, that looks a lot like a Journey. That's true.
Yeah. So
I like yours better, but that's
that's
pretty
Gen
good.
2. This is Gen 3.
Yeah, I
Started off
really
from a
like the
Renault.
tail. But yeah, I
Uh,
like yours better. I like, I really do like your front end treatments.
Yes, of course. I think Suzy Q, some others have been saying, why are you putting the Charger thing on everything? I mean, the Charger, I guess, is showing the new design language for Dodge, and I think it works on actually most of my designs.
It's a thought because, when you're trying to rebuild a brand, it's not a terrible way to do it.
We need more
Yeah,
colors, and that's for Dodge. That's what Dodge is good for.
it
And
would be nice, but they
I'm
charge
definitely,
$800
I
for a
mean, I've
color.
definitely seen the color that stands out most to me, and I for some reason associate with the Dodge Journey. They're known for bringing that bright orange Journey. That's
Hmm.
how I should show it off in.
It's a beautiful color.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would
Based
be
off
nice.
the Renault, they could definitely do this off the Charger. The Charger has the same lines to it. Just lift up the Charger a little bit, make it crossover-y. They could pull something like this off of the Charger, I think, and you have this SUV. I think this was like, should I do it medium? Should I do it large? If you have the Durango, we'll get to the Durango. Durango has a lot of controversy to it, but this would be more CUV like. They could definitely differentiate. You have one be more boxy, the other be
Yeah,
more curvy. Stella Large, 31.9 to 38.5 for a new Journey. I think that would be reasonable.
it's a very different price class from the original, but with the Intrepid there serving the original Journey's main purpose, that would work.
Yeah. I think Conquest is where the bulk is. It's the most utilitarian, capable Dodge, different Dodge, affordable. 25,000. A lot of people are looking for something in that. And of course, CEO is talking about a $25,000 Jeep. I'll just go into a little bit of discussion about not everything should be a Jeep. We have too
Yeah,
much Jeep. Jeep is just oversaturated. It's gone away from its roots. We don't need everything being a Jeep. Jeep should be narrowed down to different kind of status vehicle. You
yep.
have maybe 4 or 5 good boxy off-road capable Jeeps, and that's it. Or the Wagoneer S, Wagoneer whatever is going off track of what they should be.
It's true. The original Wagoneer was a serious custom-built off-road vehicle. They got a truck out of it, but they didn't base it on the truck. It was co-engineering, and again, off-road was their number one for both.
Mhm. Little talking about Jeep: Gladiator, Cherokee, Grand Cherokee, Wrangler. Keep it simple. I would, if I was there, I'd probably even drop the Wagoneer. I'd drop the Compass. I'd drop the Renegade. I'd drop some of those other ones. Outside of the US, I guess that's fine. India, Jeep is Dodge and Chrysler's only presence. The Meridian over there looks actually really cool. That is so Durango, large, boxier.
Mhm.
What does it start at? Let me do a little bit of background research. Let me hop on Dodge's website. I know we're in a transition period, so I believe they still have it. Yes, they do.
2 more years.
2 more years. Starts at 41 right now.
Minus about $3,600. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, about 38,000, and you've got it starting at about 35,000. So that would be a drop.
Yes. And I
But that,
actually,
but
yes.
no
So actually,
rebates.
I did not include. Oh, I don't know why I said Durango GLH. I think that should probably be SRT. But I think I was limiting it to the mainstream. I was kind of trying to stay in the general bulk of Durango sales because I know if you add on SRTs and Banshees and stuff, maybe I'll expand this out a little bit more. I'll edit it on my Behance. But you hear about all the SRTs and the higher trim chargers just sitting on the lot. So
Yeah.
they really need to move those higher trims. I don't know. Maybe I should probably rename this to SRT, but I think constraining that sport trim down a little bit might be a good idea for them. I need 70,000, for an
Yeah.
SRT. 41
Oh,
might be a little too small, might be a little too cheap. SRTs for 41, maybe 45,000. I'll play with the Durango numbers a little bit, but I think I put charger. I put I think what I'm seeing out right now, or everything that they're talking about, of course. So we've got our first edition chargers. The pricing is out. But people are saying, oh, that's so bad for Dodge. They're not going to sell anything. But if you read between the lines, there are like 7 packages, all totaling about $16,000. And we don't know the difference between the sedan and the coupe. Sedan is the one that I'm going to buy. So I'm still waiting for sedan numbers. On their website, notice that the Charger is more expensive than the Challenger. The Challenger is actually the cheaper one. I mean, based on the numbers they're showing, I think most people are hoping that they are going to flip it because on the numbers that I was doing, you take off all those packages. I have it on the form. You do standard output, high output. You could be looking at 50K, maybe high 40s for a standard output coupe. So if that's what you're doing, and of course, the Charger has always been a wide range of cars, from your SRT to your base level. The sedan has to undershoot this coupe. I think it has to be successful. And finally, I have the Dodge derivative of the Imperial, which I wouldn't expect to sell all that well here, but I think would make a good overseas car, maybe even
mhm.
a fleet car. I have the Dodge Dynasty, very large, less performance oriented sedan, would be more of a fleet car, be kind of big, and of course it's more utilitarian looking. This
Yeah.
one, of course, I said overseas would probably be Middle East and China exclusive.
Makes sense. The big back seats are always appreciated.
AED to 146 to 170 AED is actually right between the Durango and the Charger. So this is 39,000 and this is about 60,000.